Hey y'all, I'm back with my January 2024 reading wrap up. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Books with Kimberly. Don't forget to like, comment, share my channel, and subscribe. February, we celebrate Black History Month, and I am celebrating by reading all books by Black authors. But before I get to the books that I've been reading in February, I have to tell y'all the books that I read in the month of January 2024. So let's get right into it. I read a total of 4 books in the month of January. The first book I read in the month of January helped me fulfill one of the goals that I set for myself in this reading year, and that is to read books that I look at the cover, something about it just really grabs out to me and I want to read it no matter what the ratings say. And that is exactly what I did when I read Beast of Prey by Ayana Gray. Beast of Prey is a YA fantasy novel. It takes place in an African continent. There's magic, and y'all know I love my Black girl magic and my Black boy magic. So I was definitely here for this story. The main characters of this story are Kofi and Akon. Kofi works at this zoo where she is in debt to the owner of the zoo. Unfortunately, something happens. The zoo goes up in flames, and Kofi tries to escape. And because of her escape, because of her having something to do with the fire, the owner of the zoo tells her, "Ma'am, you are in debt for years and years to come." And so she makes a deal with him that she's going to go out and find the Shatani. The Shatani is this beast that has been killing lots of people in the villages. She has seen it once. She was able to get the Shatani to stop using some kind of power she didn't even know she had. And so she's determined to find this Shatani, bring it back to the zoo, and it's going to draw in more crowd, more money for the zoo owner, and in turn, her and her mom and her friend at the zoo will get to be free. The second main character is Akon. Akon is on this journey of becoming one of the sons of the six gods in this book. He has one task to complete. It gets interrupted because they have to go run and check on the fire at the zoo. Him and Kofi actually run into each other. And because he breaks the rules and lets Kofi go free to run away and escape from the zoo, he is told he is no longer a candidate of the Sons of the Six. He decides that in order for him to get back in their good graces and fulfill this family legacy, he decides that he's going to go after the Shatani, kill the Shatani, and this is what is going to get him to become a son of the six. You have the two of them going on this journey to find the Shatani, finding out the truth about this beast and the truth about the gods. And even Kofi is finding out the truth about her heritage of being a Daraja. I thought this was a really interesting book. I did enjoy it. There were some moments where I felt like it dragged and I wanted more. It could have been a lot more action, more subplots. I wanted to see the two of them be more vulnerable, but this is the first book in a series, so I will be adding book number 2 to my YA Fantasy Book Number 2 challenge, where I highlight books by Black authors. The next 2 books are books that I have been seeing so many times in book groups, on social media, and I just had to read these books and see what the hype is about. The first one, excuse my pronunciation of this last name, but the book is Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Y'all, this book had me at chapter 1. I was so ready to get into it. It had this very eerie, suspenseful vibe to it that I was just eating up. The main character of Yellowface is Juniper Hayward, and she goes by June. The book opens up with her meeting a friend, and I use that term very loosely, Athena Lou. Athena Lou and June went to college together. Both of them are authors. They have books published, but Athena is an Asian author. Her career has just skyrocketed. Both of her books were on the New York bestsellers list. She has a Netflix deal that the two of them are meeting up to have drinks and celebrate. Where on the other hand, June's book was a flop. It barely sold copies. So June is extremely jealous of her, and the book just starts off with her loathing Athena's career and the fact that she is where June wishes she was. June also makes it clear that she feels like the only reason Athena's book has been put on this high pedestal is because she is Asian, and that the book world just eats up non-white authors. Girl, bye. The book takes a crazy turn when the two of them go get drinks. They're laughing. They go to Athena's apartment. June sees this manuscript that Athena has just finished. She flips through it and tells her, like, girl, this is another bestseller. It's really good. And, you know, she gives her kudos, even though she is still very jealous. The two of them are eating pancakes and laughing. And y'all, Athena chokes on a pancake and dies. And of course, I knew exactly what June was going to do. She does call the ambulance. She tries to save Athena's life. But when Athena takes her last breath, she makes sure she does not leave that apartment without the manuscript that Athena just finished before she passed away. When June gets this manuscript, she goes through it, she starts working on it, and she sends it to literary agents. It gets picked up, and she publishes this book about an Asian war story. She ends up changing her name from June Hayward to June Song, Song being her middle name, and that is how we have the book Yellowface. Y'all, it actually took me to the end of the book to realize that Yellowface was like blackface. And I was like, oh, because she changed her name to Song, and she's writing this book about Asians. And y'all, she was meeting up with Asian societies. She even did a photo shoot, and they put a tan on her to make her look more Asian. She would tell people when confronted that she was a white woman, but she was definitely playing when she changed her name and let them post those photos of her with that tan. Y'all, this book was crazy. I loved it at the beginning, but the book started to take a negative turn for me when it got to her publishing this book. There were chapters and chapters where it just detailed her obsession with the people on Twitter, the Twitter comments, people comparing the book to Athena's work. She was on edge the whole time, hoping nobody would figure out what she had done. And so the book just got a little crazy being in her head. I actually needed a break from being in June's head about all of the things going on with publishing this book. So I do wish the story would have had other subplots, other characters. There's only one family member alive that Athena had, which is her mom, and her mom knew nothing about the book. Athena's literary agents didn't know what she was writing about, and so the stakes weren't that high to me. Yes, it can be figured out, but I just didn't like how easily June was able to get away with this. I'm giving it 3 stars. It started off so well, but I just wanted more. June was a straight up Karen, and honestly, I wanted more of that. But after reading Goodreads reviews and some other reviews in the book groups I'm in on Facebook, a lot of people considered this story to be triggering. So I understand why the author did not make her like this uber Karen villain. The next book is one I see in Facebook groups at least twice a week, and that is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. I blind read this book, which means I did not read the back of the book. I had no clue what this book was about. The main characters of Razorblade Tears are Ike Randall and Buddy Lee. These 2 men have one thing in common, and that's the fact that their sons were murdered. Their sons were actually a married couple. Buddy Lee gets Ike to go on this journey of finding out what happened to their sons, who killed them, and both of them want to get revenge. Ike Ike is a black man and Buddy Lee is a white man. And in this book, Ike continuously has to tell Buddy Lee just how different life is for him being black. I really like that this book did not shy away from talking about race. It did not shy away from talking about homophobia. But I also thought it was interesting that both Ike and Buddy Lee did not have relationships with their sons due to them being gay. It wasn't until their murders that they have this remorseful feeling of wishing they had gotten more time with their sons, they had reconciled, and that they had just stopped being so stubborn and set in their old traditional ways and really had loved and appreciated their sons, even though they were in love with men. So I thought this was a very interesting book. It started off kind of like, where is this going? But by the end, I was all for the action, the revenge, getting payback. So I did enjoy this book, and I possibly may read more from this author. I don't know. Action isn't my thing, but I did overall enjoy this book, and I give it 4 stars. The last book I read in the month of January was Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. I was excited to read another book by her. This book was actually surprising because from the cover, I thought that I was reading a book, maybe an interracial couple or a non-black couple, but both of these characters are just ambiguous. So the main character, August, is half white and half black, and Iris, she is multiracial, but her mother is Creole from New Orleans. I will say that I wish this book had trigger warnings. There is abuse of every kind in this book. Maybe I didn't hear it in the audiobook that I read. Hopefully the book has it at the front. But this book is about August West and Iris. August West is a college basketball player. He has one more game left, and he is also the first round draft pick in the draft that will be following this game. August has an amazing time meeting Iris. It is like love at first sight. But as they are parting ways, Iris lets him know she has a boyfriend. And it's not until the game the next day that he finds out that Iris is dating Caleb. The two of them have been playing basketball in the same leagues for years. And so they've always had this rivalry. And Caleb has the girl of his dreams. And this book is very interesting because Iris doesn't immediately break up with Caleb and go to August, even though she also felt those same feelings. She remains in a relationship with Caleb. She has to put her dreams of being a sports agent on the hold because she ends up getting pregnant by Caleb, and the two of them move in together to have this family. August still has these strong feelings for her. He thinks about her a lot, and they only have about 2 or 3 encounters within a 2-year span. Caleb, when he finds out about the connection that the two of them have, he can see it, it's palpable, and he takes revenge on Iris and starts to be abusive to her. I will say I had to take a pause in the book because it was a lot. Caleb was a monster. I will say that the book was very well written. It wrapped up beautifully. Justice was served, I will say that. But by it being a heavier read than I expected, because this is another book that I just blind read, I give this book 4 stars just because it was a heavier read. But overall, I still liked it, and I do want to complete this series. Y'all, that is it for the books I read in the month of January. Get down in the comments and let me know what books you started the year off reading. Thanks again for tuning in to a Books with Kimberly video.